It's 2016 at the Paycom Center. The Oklahoma City Thunder are preparing for a high-stakes playoff matchup against the Dallas Mavericks. Near midcourt, Russell Westbrook and teammate Cameron Payne are moving through their synchronized pre-game dance ritual, a high-energy routine they perform before every tip-off. Mavericks veteran Charlie Villanueva decides to disrupt it. He walks directly between the two players, physically breaking their rhythm and forcing a confrontation. Villanueva's provocation is specific. He tells Westbrook that if he wants to dance instead of warm up, he should go to a nightclub. Westbrook's response is immediate and dismissive. He fires back on camera, stating that Villanueva's comments are only for guys who don't play, a public jab at the veteran's limited role on the bench. This exchange highlights the abrasive mindset Westbrook brought to the arena. He viewed every interaction through a lens of competition, respecting only those who could match his presence on the floor. That combative intensity defined his career. He played with a visible anger that often alienated opponents and drew constant scrutiny from the media. This raises a question about the sustainability of that energy. Most players who operate at this level of constant friction eventually burn out or fade away. For Westbrook, that intensity wasn't a distraction. It was the baseline for a playing style that would eventually result in the most prolific statistical output for any point guard in history. To see the results of that drive, we have to look past the individual scuffles and examine the macro-level impact of his 18-season career. The metric for total game domination is the triple-double, logging double digits in points, rebounds, and assists in a single night. This chart shows how rarely point guards achieved this historically. The trend line remains flat for decades, until it suddenly spikes when Westbrook enters his prime. Applying that same aggression to every play, he began averaging double digits in points, rebounds, and assists. He retired in 2026 as the undisputed all-time NBA leader in triple-doubles. Those numbers are the mathematical proof of his refusal to concede a single possession, regardless of the score or the opponent. The physical toll of such an explosive style usually leads to a short career. Most players with his athleticism face a rapid decline as their bodies break down. This data tells a different story. Over 18 seasons, Westbrook climbed the rankings until he became the highest-scoring point guard in NBA history. Accumulating over 25,000 points requires a level of physical durability and nightly aggression that very few athletes can maintain for nearly 2 decades. He reached the end of this marathon in 2026, finishing his final professional season with the Sacramento Kings. Claiming the all-time scoring title for his position proves that his intensity was a permanent fixture of his game, outlasting nearly every peer from his draft class. On Wednesday, August 12, 2026, Russell Westbrook officially announced his retirement from the NBA. Shortly after the news broke, Charlie Villanueva, the same rival Westbrook had publicly dismissed a decade earlier, responded to the announcement. Despite their history of on-court animosity, Villanueva posted a public tribute to the man who once told him he didn't play enough to talk trash. Villanueva addressed their past directly, writing, "Definitely didn't always get along on the court as I recall," but the post concluded with an admission, "But always respect the way you competed and played the game." Earning that statement from a player he had openly humiliated is perhaps the clearest indicator of the impact Westbrook left on the league. Westbrook leaves the NBA at the top of the record books, holding 2 of the most significant statistical milestones for a point guard. His uncompromising personality and his historic production were inextricably linked. The records were a product of the same friction that made him so polarizing. Westbrook's legacy is defined by a style of play so relentless that even his former rivals were forced to acknowledge the magnitude of what he achieved.